Yeah. You like?
What's the difference between character living and dying? This was my daughter said. That being said, I think like games are less valuable in this than they are in Dungeons, just we don't get the storm. That's true. But I think it is still.
I think we're good on the Wi-Fi.
Good.
I should get into the habit of cycling that modem like hour before we set up.
Do you have two internet connections, or?
Yeah, there's a guest and a regular one. They both go on the same lines.
Oh, they do. Okay.
And there's a mesh network in here.
You got my audio. Hello, 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 hello. Audio, audio. All right. Well, I'm got my mouth right on it. How's this? How's this looking there, Pally boy? Buckaroo. Oh, jeez. Easier?
This is actually getting through. It's not mine. I like that.
Yeah, yeah, reinforcements. And I don't think the reinforcements make as much sense, but I do like the idea of
What are we thinking for this guy? Can we use him? Oh, we got one on here.
We got that one for, yeah.
Yeah.
I can keep this one for running around.
Okay. Yeah, for the audience questions.
All right.
We're live?
The camera's kind of freaking out because of it's looking at that bright screen.
Let's change the angle.
Let's drop it a little bit. Okay.
How's that looking? Helps if there's a human there.
Yeah, it's a little better.
Aim it up. We can just pull it up.
I want range enemies to
Probably. Yep.
first of all, they're going to flash.
Yes.
If I can choose them,
Okay, that's pretty good.
You like it?
Oh.
Hey everybody, we're ready to get started. Please take your seats. Wow, I got quiet. Is the camera happy? Everybody's happy?
I think it's good, yeah.
Well, welcome everybody. I think we got some new faces. Be sure to introduce yourself. We'll have plenty of chances to hang out and socialize. And
Where's your name tag, Zach?
I don't know. My name's Zach. You're all paying attention, so you just remember the one name, Zach. Shut up. The special wrap-up includes help roadie some gear. So there'll be extra socializing and carrying time at the end of the event. We've got some monitors in here and some road cases with wheels. So yeah, let's get rolling. So welcome. I should explain, Minnesota VR and HCI is an offshoot of the IGDA Twin Cities chapter, International Game Developers Association, which is this logo here. Boy, I don't even know when this started, 10, 15 more years ago. And then I've started up the MNVR and HCI group in 2013, right when the Oculus Kickstarter shipped. had to do it quick before somebody else started the good VR group in town. And that's not all we do. But first, kind of rules for the road. We make all our events safe and inclusive. If you have any issues, talk to any one of us. If you don't feel comfortable, just let us know on our website, IGDA.tc.org. We'll take care of it. The board is all volunteer. That's all of us. And then IGTA itself has additional volunteers that take care of lots of the special events. You may recognize Bradley from that side of the room, who has been bringing this, he'll explain, but portable arcade of all sorts to various events. Here's our regular schedule. The thing to just keep in mind is just Wednesdays. We carved those out, so just put a recurring thing on your calendar for your favorite Wednesday group. Game dev meeting's on the second Wednesday. The VR meeting, which you're at, is on the fourth Wednesday. In between is a playtest event. And then we also have some special interest groups that are now, I think, meeting every month. So they have a routine schedule. If you signed up on Eventbrite, you'll get an invite for these. We try to cluster them together so we're not bombarding you with mail. Eventbrite got a little turn the screws on the free accounts, so your emails are coming a lot slower than they used to. You can also just follow our group on Eventbrite and you'll get a notification the second we click the button. Otherwise, the emails are staggered over 5 days now. So all of you that got on the list late and got an email like last Saturday, that's why. If you do become part of International Game Developers Association, just mention our chapter and they kick a little money our way eventually. And yeah, news plugs and announcements. We got one official one ready to roll here called Magic Beans. Patrick. We got a mouse over there if you want.
Oh, sweet, yeah. I'll take that.
Who are you?
He's got a name tag on it.
Yeah, nobody needs my name. I've got a name tag. Hi, my name's Patrick, and I think I met most of you in this room. So, been in technology for a long time as a creative technologist and pivoted many, many times. So this is not necessarily a pivot. I'll speak up a little bit. But it is completely off topic, so I promised Zach that I would be very quick, but I promise it'll be interesting as well. So what I am plugging tonight is a technical trading indicator for trading stocks and crypto and futures and options, but it's built on the idea that the entire market is fake. So there's no supply and demand, there is no support and resistance except that which is created by the algorithms which are running the market. So with that in mind, and a few hundred hours of failed experiments, eventually I found what I was looking for, and I am releasing it as a product. And what this is a price prediction model that attempts to front run the algorithms that are pricing the market. So the way it works, the way I've designed it is on a series of what I call triggers and targets. So you have triggers which come in right here, and those kind of act like support and resistance levels that haven't appeared yet, or they will appear later. And then depending on how price interacts with a trigger depends on where it might end up, and that would be the target that it will go to there. So that's right up on how it works, which I just said. So just some examples. This is the SPY chart for the S&P 500, and so the blue and orange lines are all triggers, and then the green and the red lines are targets. So this is the one-day chart, and each one of these moves is about 5%. So if you had just taken these trades like this, then you could you would have done pretty well in your portfolio if you were swing trading the one-day SPY chart. It also works on day trading, obviously quite a bit riskier, but this is the AMC chart from 2 days ago, I think. And in after hours or pre-market, it printed a target of 464. Market opened up. We kind of printed a target up here, but we didn't go through the trigger, so we didn't hit it because we need a new candle to open above the trigger to take out the target. Instead, we dumped down, hit a trigger, hit a target. The wick came down to touch 464, just like we knew it would, and then the price goes up, and then it took out 509 the next morning. I got a Twitter account where I've been posting these price targets, often to the penny, except for this one, which was off by a penny. So I made a mistake on that one. I'm only human. And then this is the Apple one-day chart, just to kind of see what it looks like in motion. So there's no triggers on here, these are just the targets. But essentially what happens is these things get printed to the chart, and then the price attempts to make its way to the targets that we have printed. So, I don't know, it's not rocket science. And then for like shorter moves, we've got what we call scalping dots. So scalping is a horrific, offensive word, but in the trading industry, it's basically taking short trades. And so scalping dots help with sort of shorter term moves. And so these build up against the price action. So if, I know these don't look like big targets, but if you're day trading, these are all pretty significant profitable moves, especially for trading options. And so this was yesterday, I think, so the price was trending down very heavily. So we started printing these price targets, and a few of the green ones got taken out as well, but the ones that didn't get taken out on the way down acted as targets on the way up. So these are often our best targets. So you could trade these as a reversal, and you could trade these as sort of mini targets on the way down, if you're a trend trader. And then the last feature for the launch title is called the magnet. And the magnet sort of acts as what I believe to be like an algorithmic anchor level. So the price and the magnet are both moving, but the magnet moves slower than the price. And so by the nature of that, that means that the price tends to find the magnet more often than the magnet finds the price. And so I use this for like pre-market. You can see where the magnet's at compared to where the price is, and get an idea of where the market might run in the opening 15 minutes, or in the middle of the day if you've got a choppy day, where the price action might return back to for a reversal play, or for swing trading if you want to see the prices deviated pretty far from the magnet, then you might have a trade entry. And so here's kind of everything put together. This was this morning on the S&P futures, where we had a bunch of green sort of targets bubbling up here. After the price had come down, we had these guys, which were unfilled. We had a trigger here that we figure is going to get targeted or going to get activated because we've got these unfilled targets, and then the magnet was green. So took a long trade here, rode it up to the trigger, and then came up there, and then we turned neutral again and exit out the trade. So it's going to be for sale. It's going to be $50 a month or $400 a year, which I think is pretty darn good if you're if you can't make $50 a month knowing where the prices are. I don't know what to tell you. So it is what it is. The thing I'd like to say to everybody here is that if this is interesting to you at all, then just send me your information by the end of the week. You can connect with me here. You can follow my price predictions at this Twitter address. This is me on Twitter as well. Find me and give me your information, and I'll just add you to the subscriber list, and then you'll be in for life. So no fees, all free. For anybody here who wants to do this. And then the other thing I'll say is that the launch features that are in here are about a third of the things that we've discovered. So I'm not the only one working on this now. I brought somebody else in who's actually putting some time into helping me sort of discover some of these things and figure out how they work together. And I got a whole list of features. I think we can build a pretty neat empire out of it. So that's it. Thank you.
I'll ask the important question.
Yeah.
Are you going to the bar?
Yeah.
And after you drink, will you explain who is controlling the market? You're just watching.
You're right.
Yeah. All right. TBD. Who else wanted to do a plug? We had like 2 more, and I don't have the list in front of me. You want to hook up your laptop quick? Make a little space here. Here's an HDMI for you. Let's just do this. Go right on top. You think that'll futz with it?
Let's see if that gets on the TV there.
Watch on that.
There we go. Whoa, Nelly. Yeehaw, yeah. Yeah, yeehaw. Hello, my name is Nick. Me and my friend Alexander are very, very new to game development, and we are We are at the start of creating an RPG called Tales of the Trail. It is basically it's a team comp like cowboy themed strategy RPG. Think like Fire Emblem, Pokemon, Darkest Dungeon, that kind of vibe. We're still very early into this. We are at the moment, what we have right now is just like some basic animation done in Dragon Bones. We are hoping to have our very first demo, like it's a very basic demo, just showing off the battle system and how it will work. We hope to have that done by 2DCon this August. And we are always on the lookout for just people who kind of just know the stuff that we don't, like, because we are hoping to run this in Unity, and that's not really our wheelhouse. We're just trying to find like anyone that's willing to help to put on our payroll, because we are more than happy to do that, of course. Yeah, it's just very, very basic stuff right now, like just showing off like how the animation works, because yeah, I'm not very good at like plugging my stuff, so.
So it sounds like you're looking for someone to help you get the art pipeline into Unity going.
Yeah, that's kind of what we're doing. That's kind of what we're doing right now. Is we're looking for people who know Unity to like take this stuff and put it all together. Because like we have numbers. We've been spending like months crunching the numbers and seeing how it all works. We even had a physical thing with like chips and stuff to figure out if the battle system actually works out. Turns out it does. So we just did that in like an online dice roller to figure out like, oh, okay, so did that do that? Did that not do that? Like, but yeah, we kind of just are looking for people to like help us out, like plugging all that in, essentially.
We've got a few 2D Unity folks here, but have you guys gone to the game developer meeting yet?
Yes, we went to one. We are definitely going to go to the one next month too.
You need a lot more.
Yeah, we've been in talks. Yeah, we've been in talks with a few people, like over the Discord. I was streaming during one of the Discord calls of like just drawing some of this stuff, because like the first demo is just going to be 4 playable characters versus 4 enemies. So it's very basic, but like that's just the first step we're taking. So yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh no. No. Should pick up after. This is a tight fit. There it goes. I'm on the TV. I'm on the stream. Excellent. I'm on the camera. Do we have one more, or did I hallucinate that? One more? Anybody? Plug. Verbal plug. We'll sing a song, a little dance. You wanna? You gonna dance?
Yeah, I forgot to.
Pull up the website.
So the Ludum Dare 53 is this weekend.
You pronounced that wrong.
Ludum Dare. They're both accepted pronunciations. Officially. Zach. Actually, no, I'll do the. I'm not going to remember the URL now.
For the Hammerways are
There
great.
it is, yeah. That's what I want.
You got some local Discord.
So last year at the Game Jam, or actually the last 2 years at the Game Jam, we've worked with the Amber Waves of Games guy. Let's like guys. There's guys. I'm part of the team now, so it's guys.
Or people.
People. Yeah. So we have hosted like an online meeting place for game jams, and we're doing that again for the next Ludum Dare, which is 53. So if you're planning on doing it, if you'd like to do it, hit us up on Discord and come jam.
That's in 3 days?
It's in 3 days. Yes.
If you're not on Discord, talk to somebody about getting on.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's a really nice setup. They've got this down to a science. They've done a lot of game jams.
And if you want to know why you should do a game jam, then come talk to me later.
At the bar.
So, did you guys hear about the bar?
What's the bar called?
JJ's Clubhouse, but it's too early to talk about specifics.
Does it close at 9:30? Remember that
No.
goes to Carmine's?
That's the other meeting that goes to Carmine's.
A little closer.
All right, that's it. Now we're going to switch over to Bradley. Come on down. And we are switching video one more time. Last time. No. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I screwed this up. Go on back. Mark, come on down.
I'm not worried about when I do this, so.
Sorry, I got a protest vote going.
All right.
Tell me when in front of a cheering group and I just like gave a cheer.
You get 2 cheers this way. Think of the positive.
And that's really one of the most amazing things about this. And if you stack these specs up against the MetaQuest Pro, that's its primary competitor. Pros and cons both ways, but like the resolution's the same, the price is about the same, the field of view is really similar. A couple things I would say is for enterprise use and for, I would say, just non-standard gaming use, this does include a depth sensor, so it basically has a camera that determines the scene around you, not using optical, but using basically laser, like the iPhones do. That's a really big thing. The MetaQuest Pro was supposed to include this, but didn't. And then this has a lot more cameras. It has things like face tracking and eye tracking that aren't present here. But in terms of a good enterprise device, I have to say it's pretty solid. And one of the really cool things, if you're doing development work on it and putting it on and off all the time, you can wear it like a pair of glasses. So as long as you have plugged into power, you can basically put it on and off really quickly. And if you want to wear it like standalone mode where you'd walk around like 6 degrees of freedom in a bigger space, you put the battery pack on and you get a couple hours worth of life. So that's a unique feature, something that people normally put more batteries onto things like the Quest 2. This you can actually take it off and sit down in tethered mode, which is pretty neat. And when you have it in that form factor, they fold in and you can actually, it comes with a little bag to put it in. It's really tiny. So it ends up folding down into something about the size of a pair of ski goggles, which is pretty unique and pretty portable. So this is with the battery pack, and you can see the USB-C cable clamps on there, and you pop it off, tether it on, and you have these tiny little earpieces that go on. I have what I would call like novelty large size head in terms of hat sizes, and I think that actually plays to my advantage. So you put it on, it squeezes pretty tight. I definitely would not, in this tethered mode, do anything that's heavy action or look down in like a forceful motion. It's definitely better to do this if you're doing something active. But if you're sitting at a desk, I think specifically doing development work, as I was Zach, you do a bunch of things to make development work on headsets that you put on and off constantly. So I think this definitely is one of the best things I've seen in this way. Any thoughts on that?
I can't wait to try it.
Okay, cool. You'll have it soon. Yeah.
No, not removable.
The Quest Pro? It doesn't know, it's one piece.
Did you show this picture at one of the previous meetings?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
That's how.
Any other questions, Scott? Just kidding. That small form factor does come at a slight cost. Because it's so small and it's jammed in there, there is an actual fan that you can actually hear. So when you turn on the device and you have it on your head, you'll hear a little whirring noise. And it's not bothersome, but it's the first time I've really noticed that in any headset. So it's definitely a thing, and some people are really sensitive to fan noise. I'm not, but I was like, what is that? And it felt weird. I was like, did my cat turn my computer on again or something like that? It turns out it's just, there's a fan in it and it has to blow air there. One of the coolest features. So if you wear glasses and you use VR, you know what a hassle it is. It has built-in diopters that correct for vision from 0 to -6. So if you fit within that range, you just put this on, you start turning it, and it will basically do the lens correction that your glasses would normally do. So it has this built in. This is just amazing. And it works really well. The really sad part of this is like if you're off the bell curve and past a -6, you can't wear glasses and use this really. It's just not really possible. So I want to call this out. It feels like every headset should have this. And the lenses in my experience have been amazing and really good and really clear. There has been some chatter, I think Zach, you've heard more of this, but some people are complaining about cloudy lenses and lots of distortion. So I think it may be like the HoloLens 2 where it may vary production unit, you know, it may vary between units. The one I have looks amazing. It looks as good as the Quest Pro, I would say, and is adjustable, which is great. So really slick. Everyone should add this. I think as we see more devices come out with new things, it's just going to become an expectation. And it's kind of surprising the Quest Pro didn't come with that, given what it's designed for, and especially if you're doing demos in corporate scenarios and running a bunch of people through things, it's just nice to have, right? The other really great feature of this is just the most incredible pass-through camera system I've ever seen. And they call it the Vive XR Elite, meaning mixed reality elite. This is a screenshot of what the Quest Pro looks like. And when you put on the Quest 2 or the Quest Pro, the pass-through is very similar. They say that the Quest Pro, I think, is 4 times the resolution of the Quest 2. It doesn't feel like that to me. I don't know what the actual specs are. And there's a lot of distortion when you get close to things. So it feels like the Quest Pro was really meant to draw a Guardian and see a room from a distance, but not really do anything up close. And you can just see all those wavy lines. And I've got a little recording here. I thought I'd grab an eye chart, because why not? And you can see the difference here. I'm going to play a video. It's just like a couple minutes of each, but it's just me sitting at my computer and like, would I ever sit in the Quest Pro and work with it on and do things like out in the real world? The answer is definitely no, but it's good enough to go into pass-through mode and be like, you know, who's there, or, you know, do I turn this on, or maybe do I grab a drink? But that's really kind of about all that's used for. And you can see all that swimminess you get, and that's all the cameras basically trying to sync together and come up with a cohesive picture. I thought that was due to maybe hand tracking being on, but it does exactly the same thing with even hand tracking turned off. So I don't know of any way to make that better. If you have any. Yep. And it's especially noticeable if you look at something that's a regular grid pattern, like a keyboard, which is something you'd really often want to see. So that's kind of the worst case scenario for something like this, basically. Tried to give it a fair shake there. And one thing you'll, go ahead.
It's not overexposed. That's actually a pretty good video for a Quest Pro.
I was going to say that exposure here is a real problem, and if you do it during the day with like a window open, everything gets really blown out. And even here, it's hard to read on a bright screen, and I have a like average brightness monitor. It's not like a crazy bright, you know, OLED or something like that. And, you know, opening up a phone, reading Twitter, it's kind of tough. And this is what the Vive XR Elite looks like. So same scenario, taken right after each other, and you can see, you can read every single line there. It's super clear, there's no distortion. And it looks a lot like when you look at, if you have an iPhone and you get really close to something and it goes into macro mode and it refocuses, that sort of same thing happens here. So when you get up close, you'll see the lens just change and get more crisp when you're up real close to things. I think there are 4 tracking cameras, but there's one pass-through camera, and it's a 16 megapixel camera on the front. So I think what they're doing is stitching all that together and then using this to display what you would see. But even things like when you set this up, you scan a QR code on a screen, and it does that just great too. So that's really slick.
How does the depth feel on the XR Elite?
I would say it feels really good up close, and I have plants along this wall in my office. And if you're looking at them and they're in the corner of your eyes, you'll see the plants move a lot more and distort a lot more than you'd think. It doesn't look wrong and it doesn't bother me, but it's different. Like you look and it looks like they're all kind of ruffling, but if you try to pick out something that's weird, it doesn't look bad at all, I guess. So.
Feels strange when you walk around? Does it bother you?
I haven't walked around in it too much with that mode, but every single thing I'd say about this is it's just so much better than the Quest Pro. I was just shocked. I put on, I'm like, is this for real? Like, it really felt like that. And I was just going to do a little bit more on the phone and scroll through things, and I was just like, can you read texts? Can you read Twitter? And you can do that, and like, you can just do all that. It's super clear, and it looks better in the headset than it does here. So this video is a slightly lower res version of what I'm seeing on the screen, and it's obviously got video compression artifacts and things, but. Reading about the Vive XR Elite on this. And this last one's the most important part for sure. I had to. Okay, I couldn't resist that. I was just talking about that with a friend. So the summary here, happy to answer any questions, and I haven't had it for too long. The other thing I would say is it's got a unique, most headsets have kind of a soft fabric cushion that's got foam underneath it. This actually looks like an old pair of what I would say are like climbing goggles, where it's cloth that kind of compresses up to your face, and it does just an incredible job of blocking out the whole real world, and that feels really great. It's amazing. It's really hard to see out of them. So for being an XR device, the Quest Pro has taken the approach of we're going to let you see up and above and around the screens and let you see out really clearly. This is basically, we're going to cut everything out and only let you see through the screens. That works pretty nice. I would say the summary is it's a decent, good emerging Quest Pro alternative for sure. The Vive streaming software, so you can plug it into your PC and then stream, PC games. It's a big part of the library if you want to play VR things. And I was really impressed. HTC doesn't have the best software always, but that did work really well, and it prioritized frame rate over visual quality. So no matter what, I was getting a really good crisp frame rate. I was playing some res just to see how that works. That's a challenging one, and it worked really well. I tried it on my really good fast network, and it worked great. I tried it on my slower network, and it also worked really well. It just didn't look as good. So I would say viable for sure. I think this is also like a good time machine forward. Mark Zuckerberg, one thing I really liked he did is they build these individual devices and think about them as time machines. When we have all these ingredients, we'll be at this place in the future. But to me, the pass-through and the form factor are just such a leap forward. It's amazing. So that part's really cool. And then the depth sensor support is coming. You have to be part of their beta program right now to do that. So we'll definitely be signing up for that. And I still think, instead of running out and buying one of these, there are some other devices that are going to come to market soon. In June, Apple's going to announce their headset unless something changes. That's currently on deck for them to announce what they're going to be up to, which I think will be really interesting in this market. And then this fall, the Quest 3. And the Quest 3 is rumored to be about twice as powerful as the Quest Pro and have a depth sensor, which makes the Quest Pro a really weird device, and not exactly sure what that means. Any thoughts on that? But it feels like...
Face tracking, and that's it.
Yeah, it's like those are the things. And I think the Quest Pro missing a depth sensor is really, really a miss for a lot of things that we want to do with it, and like a lot of people want to do with it. Any questions at all? Just a quick look. I've only had a little bit of time with it, but wanted to share what I saw on camera. Yeah.
So, with the Quest Pro, one of the issues that I struggled through with just like putting someone who doesn't know how to use VR in it, the Quest 2 is just so seamless. You could basically just pick one of the 3 settings, stick it on someone's head, and they could just use it. And the Quest Pro is like getting the eyes aligned properly and getting face tracking and getting everything set up is just so tedious. So how does that compare with this?
I feel like this is more like the Quest Pro for sure, where between the infinitely adjustable, IPD adjustment is great, but then also this on top of it. So I feel like it's going to be, if you're going to cycle a whole bunch of people through a demo, I would say no way, personally. But if you're going to sit and use it and do real work with it, then I think it's a much better fit for that. So I think they're exactly the same in that way.
They have the same trouble.
Yeah, that's a good question. You, finance bro. Just kidding.
What is your big screen? Are you going to get the big screen one?
I don't have one ordered. Paul Eckert, who I know and work with, he has one.
Okay.
And he said it's really great, but it's like the extreme version of that where it's really just meant for you, where you do a face scan of your face. So even sharing that with somebody else is really weird. It sounds like the center of view on that device is amazing, and then it gets distorted around the edges is the general consensus. But I don't have any eyes on time with that one.
Somebody here will buy one.
For sure. Is it going to be you?
No.
No, okay. All right. All right, just a quick look at that. If you want to chat more, I'll be around at the bar with Zach.
The bar?
Yes. I'll be there.
Barbecue.
You plug that guy back in. So
Alrighty. There was a headset missing from the upcoming list. The links are from France. Whatever. Shut up. That's the reason I'm not buying another headset. I got to get that one delivered that I already paid for. See if that shows up. Actually, we should be plugging you in, shouldn't we? Probably. Yeah, let's do that instead. So we'll just.
Thank you.
You can go on top of this if you like.
Let's see if my battery will hold out.
Uh-oh. So they did actually just do a links update. Jeez. Update today. Well, you saw, they showed the pass-through video. So that's a question about the HTC. Have they indicated if apps can access the camera feed?
Okay.
Or is it just an underlay like on Quest?
I have my, I don't know if I have my.
Unclear is the answer.
I feel like we need one
Yep.
extension cord.
We need the Mac HDMI adapter.
To what other end?
Would your adapter work to connect this
Do you have a
HDMI to this Mac?
No.
No. Do you need USB-C to HDMI? Yeah.
Yep.
It's for the stream.
Stream's still up here.
Still working.
The stream's working.
Okay. Okay. Make it full screen.
No one knows it's a Mac.
Oh, damn it. Okay, I was gonna do it like this.
All right. Green circle. Yeah, green circle. Up, up, up. Little green thing on the corner. This one. Click this one. This
Oh,
green one.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Brad, do you have an extension cord over here?
Yeah, you can grab any of those red ones.
How long do you use these? How low is your battery?
It's like a 9-year-old laptop,
Oh.
so its battery is like anywhere between 5 minutes and
Oh, okay.
2 hours.
I consider us lucky then.
Okay. Got a little.
Don't breathe. Nobody breathe.
Okay, no, yeah. Yeah, no, definitely no.
Definitely don't breathe.
All right.
Okay. There you go. Stand a little bit.
Right here.
I think you're good.
Okay, we're good? Don't hear me?
Go for it.
Oh! Yeah, that'll happen. So this all,
That's probably the power cord.
it's the UPS. It shut off because there was an irregularity in the electrical system. When I plugged this in, probably. Just leave it off, I guess, because it's too late. Around you, you can see this sensory room experience that I brought to VGM Con, and then I brought to Minibar. Now I'm bringing here. My name is right here. It's Bradley Ellenboss. This is my fine YouTube. This is where you email for all of the work that you want me to do.
What kind of work?
I used to make knockoff VR controllers, and now I make art installation pieces, but I still do just random software also. So anything like that. I'm also a journeyman carpenter, so if you want some like mediocre carpentry done for you, totally the guy. I also have a writing degree. Don't hire me for that. But that's the only thing I actually have a college degree in. You will not notice that by my slides. Please interrupt with questions along the way. Most of these are bugs, but let's see what this is. So, what is my goal? What the hell is this thing? Why am I doing it? Well, as I make installation pieces, I wanted to make low-end PCs. I want to use low-end PCs to create an adaptable, budget-friendly, room-scale experience. Because everybody I work with wants to buy a Raspberry Pi, or they want to buy a mini PC, and now I have 25 computers that don't work for the projects they were bought for. But some of them. So who might want to buy this? This is my target audience, is anybody that owns a venue. They've got old PCs. They're like a museum, or they're like an office building that wants to put up some signage, some digital signage. And that's who I want to start talking to about this. If you would like, you can go to this, type all these words into your browser and go see this slide deck, or this spreadsheet of many, many PCs that I brought with me. I can click on this, I suppose.
Is that slide deck different than this slide deck?
That is this slide deck. If you wanted to observe this slide deck, this is my list of computers. So I've meant to make this for a long time, but to go through what actually is running is 26 computers, 25, because there's a top header. 4, 3, 2, 22, because so much of them are Arduinos. I'm going to shut this off now. Go back to the sensory room overview. Okay. Design document. Again, if you type all these words into your browser, and then it'll totally bring it up and you can see it. So I thought I should talk about what I call no SaaS IoT, because I don't know about you, but I'm so goddamn sick of subscription services. I have a subscription service to my car now, and I don't know what to do other than just give up. Or not, because I own my own small business, and I can make a product that doesn't do any of that stuff. IoT libraries all work locally. Nobody does it because you can't charge a subscription for it. But I don't want that. I want to rent things to people and sell them to the people. And so all the networking you see on here is it's some TCP that's strung together, but it'll eventually be an IoTivity library, which is a cross. I'll actually come back to that. Just remember that IoTivity is a whole lot of not fun, but it protects you from patent trolls. All right, why do I want to do this? I think that there's a bottom line in this. I think that I'm not the only one that's sick of this. And one of these years, we're not going to talk about VR, we're going to talk about dismantling SaaS services. And I don't think and I want to be there for that one. All right. This is a picture. I already said these words out loud, I guess. It's adaptable. So I could put it in a space. Like, I didn't know what this space was going to look like today. So there's like a chunk that can go over here, and a chunk that can go over there, and a chunk that can go over there, and then hopefully they can kind of fill out. I will play a video, I think, of one that's more. Oh, it should be on the Wi-Fi, unless I disconnected from the Wi-Fi. Stream's still there? Okay. I'm gonna try it one more time, and then I'm just gonna give up.
Maybe?
I mean, it's just I don't think so.
Or are you disconnected?
I might be disconnected.
We did reboot it once.
Move the mouse up to the top of the screen.
Oh my God, yeah. I never go to full screen on Mac, and it's really obvious right now. Oh, good. Okay, good. I connected to my local LAN on accident, so that's what it did.
Well, we're waiting on that. How do you boot and run these things? What OS are you using?
I can go back to this. They run everything.
Oh.
I'm gonna play this video while I answer that question, if that's okay. Because it's a really important question, and it's Okay, this is this whole experience running at VGMCon, which is a smaller room than this. Obviously, this is a pretty big space, but it was still it was pretty intimidating walking into it the first day, and I think it turned out pretty well. What do these run? There are Windows computers, there are Ubuntu computers, there are Mac Minis, there are Raspberry Pis. There's everything from as low as Raspberry Pi 0 up to 4B. So they run a little bit of all that. There's some Ubuntu, there's some Raspberry Pi OS, there's Windows 10, Windows 11. There's a bunch of different Mac versions on there, which is kind of like a fun process to support long term. They run Unity applications, they run Pure Basic applications, and they run Python applications. They also run quite a bit of Batch and CMD and VBScript and PowerShell to start some stuff up and run on the Windows scripting side. I like the Pure Basic to talk about that. It's a modern implementation of BASIC. So you might say, hey, why do you want to use BASIC? Well, it's because I want to target mid and low-end PCs. It's a 3D engine that runs on a Raspberry Pi, and it runs really well. That's it. That's the whole thing. So there's plenty of like Java out there if you want to like have that as part of your life. And there's plenty of Python that runs pretty slow but pretty stable. And then there's like Unity, which is just not going to run on the Raspberry Pi, but you could totally go ahead and Google Unity and Raspberry Pi, and you'll find a bunch of material about the Unity front end for Ubuntu or for Linux or fucking whatever, but not what I'm talking about, not the game engine. That's why I use it. It's rad. Nobody else use it though, because I want to do it. I don't want anybody else to use it. And these slides are a little disoriented, but I'm going to get back to that. So we might as well just keep going. It is adaptable because it has modular stations. It's a bunch of servers with independent clients throughout it. The sensory room is like, you got a question? Or are you just having fun? Sure, oh, okay. Most of what you see are visualizers that serve as servers, and then there's a couple clients in there that can change what's going on. And I'll point, but you see the drawing importer custom controller that's over there. That is just a client that goes ahead and talks to the servers. And there'll be a number of other clients that do that. So as you walk around the sensory room, you can take a picture or interact with some stuff and have some fun, and you'll start to see that it's changing the room as a whole. VGMCon was really a proof of concept for this because it starts with default art provided by their board members, and then throughout the day, people come in, they fill out coloring sheets. They use the drawing importer to import them into the scene, and then throughout the day, the visualizer gets replaced by player, like people's art, not the default art. So they come back, they have as a kid, they can draw it, see it on the screen. Adults can do the same, see it on the screen.
Do you have that on video anywhere, or I can carry it up there?
Yeah, grab it. Let's do it. I should have maybe set that up over here before I.
We can all rotate it.
Okay, but there's the camera that's right here.
Oh, okay. Can I unplug the white power cable?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's gonna shut off, but that's okay. It does have a battery power, but it takes like that Mac Mini like 10 minutes to turn on. So.
It's worth showing this thing off.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. See, there's a custom controller made for $400. It's got a Mac Mini. It's got a touch screen. It's got pool noodles. It's got a webcam. It's got a bucket. This one actually has two Mac Minis, because one of them, on the third day of VGMCon, I came in and this one, it didn't know where its operating system was. So that was real bad. I ran it off my laptop for a day, but then I just kind of taped another one on there before Minibar, because that's all the time I had. And that's where I'm at. So this is, and then Zach was kind enough to reach out about this, but I only learned about this during VGM Con.
Yep.
So I didn't have time to unpack it, and then repack it, and then bring it here.
And
so,
unpack it.
and then unpack it.
Yeah, so we've been taking pictures of people with that
Yeah.
thing, and also making some beautiful artwork and scanning it in.
This is what it looks like when your face is being scanned.
And then
And this is
I don't know how far I can move this camera, but we'll maybe get a little closer at the end without sacrificing anything right now. The art gradually shows up in all the monitors around the room throughout the day.
It's got so much work to go. I was kind of hoping to have it looking a lot better before I did a talk on it, but here I am.
I have a question.
Yeah.
How do you filter content for people who are drawing porno?
Haven't had an issue yet.
All right!
There's there's gonna be, so they're gonna, right now the images, they just go out to every PC. So it would propagate exactly as badly as you are expecting at the moment. Yeah?
I was gonna say, it's good that hasn't happened yet because I know there's a text follow-up and
Yeah.
people can write some pretty unsavory things. So.
Yeah. Long term, it's going to go to a manager PC, which will probably just be a Raspberry Pi. For one, so it can do exactly this. So somebody can monitor the content and be like, nope. And it'll give them a minute or so to do it. And during that minute, there can be like some immediate gratification that happens as well. So right now, it takes the picture, it goes all around, takes somewhere between 30 seconds and a couple minutes, which is way too long. But, so it can take that, what it's gonna do is take that picture and it'll move it over to one PC and then you can like see it. You'll see the image like scoot over and have that immediate gratification. And it'll do some fun graphics that aren't really doing anything. They're like processing, but it's not really gonna do anything. It's just there to give somebody a minute to be like, nope. And that's the process. There's gotta be a human that monitors it at some point. I'm going to move on. Okay. How budget friendly is it? So I showed a controller, which is about $400 to put together, which is pretty budget friendly at that point already. You're already starting to get close enough to like the Switch that you're like, oh, I can almost like have the Switch money. It targets older monitors, which are going to run cheaper for you. They're just going to be dimmer and softer, and they're just going to they're going to consume less power for you. So another fun, budget-friendly part of this. I wrote something down here about integrated video cards. Usually Unity runs pretty well, but sometimes it runs real bad. So that's when I drop down to Pure Basic and use that, and that's a full 3D engine that's not Python. And then if everything else fails, I definitely just start running Python. Yeah, so it says Pure Basic 3D right there, and that Python's my backup, that everything might fail, and the Pure Basic actually failed right before VGM Con. So just a couple days before, I was like, I'm going to do all my updates a couple days before, make sure I got everything out of the system so nothing tries to update while I'm there. Anyways, yeah, all the Pure Basic stuff totally broke because all the Qt library on the Raspberry Pi broke for some reason. So it wasn't even anything to do with the application or the programming. It was the editor that won't open. And I can't make the application without the editor. So Python. It's fun. It's fun language filled with fun people. Why not JavaScript? Well, I don't really write JavaScript that often is probably the main reason. But it's also like file I/O. Like JavaScript can run on just about anything, but then you run it on a browser, and then you try to save or load an image or whatever, and it's going to bring up a wizard because you don't want browsers doing that stuff automatically. And great, they shouldn't. But that's what I want to do. And somebody will tell me I'm wrong, which is great because right down here I can tell you exactly how I fixed it. So if you ever want to save anything with JavaScript and avoid the wizard, what you can do is write a C# application that's a WPF that implements the C# library, and you can embed a Chromium browser right into your rich application, and you can inject your JavaScript right into there, so you can save your information out through a callback, save it to a file with C#, destroy the browser, rebuild it, re-inject everything, and that's an incredibly long way around this seemingly simple problem. But that's a big digression from even what I'm saying today. Mostly I don't use JavaScript. It's just a screensaver. Yeah, you're kind of right. It's actually 3 applications that make up the screensaver, but I've already been talking about those. Mostly it's a screensaver, yeah. It does 2D images, but what you should think about is that think about it like the weather in between the background and the foreground. That's all it is. That's all it's ever going to be. So, do they all do the things I'm talking about? Like 20% of the way, let's say, with a lot of things that are broken. Okay. We got 3 other applications. This is fine, I already talked about this. iOS, great, yeah, none of this runs on iOS. So, oh yeah, I could always do JavaScript and throw it up on a glitch site. That's great. I could always do some Objective-C. I'm just trying to keep my cost of maintenance down as well. So I can get out of my Unity subscription, get out of my Apple developer subscription. And then whoever I'm selling something to, I don't want to sell them a license that they're beholden to. Yep, it's just a screensaver, I know. It's 20 screensavers, they're all put together, so you could potentially here's a proof of concept that's going to come to be. You blow in a direction on something, and then all the things will blow in that direction. It'll look great once I do it, once I set up this proof of concept. It's all Unity C# and Pure Basic and Python. What is the licensing? There's all kinds of different licensing. Mostly it's going to have to everything is going to have to go under like the Apache 2.0 license because that's what the IOtivity uses. And then I have to be beholden to everything in IOtivity to keep trolls from suing my pants off whenever I do make money. You should probably protect yourself as well. IOtivity is a fun, terrible library. Licensing's real boring. IOtivity is a cross-silo IoT library. It has a shared patent pool, which means that you sacrifice all your patents into this patent pool, but then so does Microsoft and Apple. So you can use their things with the restriction that you, of course, give up your patents to. It's through processes like this and things called corporate democracy, which is how companies suss this stuff out sometimes. Corporate democracy, in an example involving IOtivity, goes to the Open Connectivity Foundation, which companies invest yearly, they invest money into on a yearly basis, and the more money they invest, the larger their voice is inside OCF. And then OCF makes standards followed by things like IOtivity or AllJoin, and those can be used as cross-silo libraries. Why Pure Basic? I think I answered this a little bit, but I did think it was going to be funny. I was like, what can I do with Basic in 2023? The answer is, I can run a pretty good 3D engine on the Raspberry Pi, which is awesome. And it runs on a Raspberry Pi Zero. Real slowly, but it runs. There's actually like a pretty significant reason why I use Pure Basic and some stuff that's off the beaten path. As much as I want more money than I have, I've been successful enough that people tell me to, I'll make something for somebody and they want to own it, which is that everything, they're entirely in their rights to do that. But there can be no confusion about what I have and what they have. And if I write all my crap in Pure Basic, then there's no confusion because nobody else is going to use that. Problem solved. And it's probably the reason why I'm going to like, all the Unity stuff's going to get replaced by CryEngine because nobody uses CryEngine. Problem solved. And then nobody uses Python and Pygame. At best, they're going to use something like Kiwi, which is just more up to date, which they're still going to look foolish anyways, but you know, I might as well just take advantage of it too. Oh yeah, this is what I was saying about CryEngine. I'm probably just going to replace my crap with CryEngine. I'm probably going to replace all my Raspberry Pis and Arduinos with PSOC and Wicked boards also, because nobody uses those either, but they're super, super powerful. Especially the Wicked board has tons of networking options available to it. They're great. I do use quite a bit of common components throughout this. Right now it's all set up with, except for the Pure Basic, it is all common components. But then this fine, beautiful cabinet you see before you, that's going to have a lot of generic solutions in it that are Arduinos, Unity, whatever else. Like the client might use it, I might use it, something. I still need the experience to give them what they want, even though I don't want to keep it. Secret goals. I keep a copy of all the installation pieces I make, or the kiosks I make, or something. But then they end up just like as PCs that are like in my office. And what do I do with them? Why do I want to turn them on every day? But I need to maintain them because somebody will call me and like last month somebody called me about a kiosk I sold them years ago, and I turned on my PC and I saw what the bug was and like resolved it for in a day or something. It was pretty easy. But if I hadn't had it set up, then it wouldn't have been. So this is a fine place for all these things to actually be, these old PCs to be set up. This is all the scraps of, I'm pointing to the arcade cabinet right now. This is all the scraps of Big Orange Dance Machine, if you ever saw that stuff. Drawing Importer is all the scraps of a project I did with a Shaun the Sheep animation station project. There's a bigger kiosk over to the left here. That's leftovers from Shaun the Sheep tree nuts. There's a low-end PC that's left over from a donor kiosk for the Albany Historic Museum and Carousel. And then hopefully I'm successful and this problem just gets worse over time. And then, you know, this room will grow over time as a result of this. Oh yeah, there's a go-kart over here. I've been talking about a go-kart for about the last year, but this is gonna be the racetrack that you're in. Welcome to being inside the AR, because you're gonna have a fun magic leap on there, you're gonna have all these screens, they're gonna have fun images on it, and you'll do things like use the drawing importer to like to import your banana, and then that banana goes in that game. And then, you know, once I have stepper motors hooked up to that go-kart to really mess with you with a banana, and I can flip up that whammy bar without you doing it, I'm gonna. It's gonna be totally rad. Yeah, these are old PCs. The old PCs I have, they just rot if I don't do it. They just fall apart. Don't maintain them. I need something to keep them alive. Okay, I'm gonna blast through this and then we're done. This is everything that broke. It's 12 pages long. This is what I thought was way more funny, and I put all my energy into this, really. But it's also pretty boring, so I'm just gonna hustle through it. Oh yeah, Mac Mini couldn't find its operating system. That was cool. The replacement Mac Mini, it won't talk to the touchscreen, so that's why you use a mouse if you used it today. I don't even know why. I haven't even had time to look at it. Coloring sheets are too small. They're they should be about twice the size, I think, from what they are. It needs a way to shrink and grow at stamp size. So I'm going to put a rotary or a knob on there, and so make it so you can shrink and grow that stamp size. I'm probably not going to do any OpenCV. There's definitely not going to be any fun AI in there. It's just going to be a Mac Mini that's like blasting through a shader and trying to like use something pretty simple again and again. Drawing porters battle damage. What did I learn? I learned hot glue melts pool noodles. But the double-sided tape from 3M like works pretty well. There's like a generic one and then a more sticky one, and I use the more sticky one. I think that's the technical term.
VHB.
Is
Very high bond.
good. I'm glad VHB stands for very high bond. That's what you said. I didn't know, but I laughed like I did, so that I didn't look foolish. Although the USBs are all unsecured, so they kind of failed a little bit over time. The image resolution was mismatched, and I didn't realize that till the day of, so even if the networking hadn't failed at VGMCon, it still would have like squished everything all wrong. So I have to go back and resolve that. The stuff in Pure Basic still works pretty well. It's because when you rotate an image in Pure Basic, you rotate the bitmap. You don't rotate the square. So your image has to be big enough that it doesn't get cut off on the edges. So it ended up like working still pretty well with the Pure Basic because the resolution stuff didn't get noticed because everything got smaller so that I could rotate it. Doesn't matter. Images are all washed out, so there's going to have to be something in there, maybe like a multicolor LED so that you can make it more blue if you want or make it more red if you want and give you a little control. I'm never going to be perfect at what I made, so I'm going to, the more I give control to people with that, I figure then it can be more gamey. Like, you know, my shortcomings can get swept by the wayside. Complex shapes are not doing very well. Really simple shapes like a Triforce or a Ruby, they work really well. So you can make them just a little bit bigger, stamp them out, they're good to go. But anything that's more complicated like a castle, the sword, the mask, they all work pretty poorly. I need to reskin all the stamps because they're all skinned for Zelda, which is VGMCon's choice, not mine. They can talk to Nintendo about that choice. My signage is pretty bad, but that's not really a bug. That's just me being a goober. The Wi-Fi card failed because I cut the Wi-Fi card off before I built the controller and forgot. So it did not work. You might say, why do you disconnect Wi-Fi cards? Because I make kiosks and stuff, and so they go out into the world, and before they do, I ask the client, hey, do you want me to disconnect your Wi-Fi so that there's no way you can, it's going to auto-update without you bringing it to an Ethernet port. People take me up on it, but I forgot about my thing. The stamp shader is smearing because I wrote it pretty poorly. It just processes as it goes. It doesn't take one screenshot that it processes. It just processes the current state of the webcam, which is the smearing is kind of fun, but it's not. I gotta fix that. The Magic Leap visualizer had an opaque black background, and then I tried to fix that, and the whole library broke. Now nothing builds. So I don't know what's going on with that. Magic Leap 2 was overheating, which was 100% no surprise. Like it doesn't really overheat on a normal day, but the VGMCon was also super duper hot. The 3 days that it was there, it went from it was like 90 the first day, and then it was like 80 the second day, and then it was like 40 the third day. But everything was overheating because doesn't matter. Apparently you can't switch an HVAC in a hotel from hot to cold, like willy-nilly, so they wouldn't, and they just kept the heat on.
What does it look like in the Magic Leap?
You can see it if you'd like. It looks like the visualizer. and it is around you, so you're inside of it. It looks black because of the black background. It looks a little wiggly because the particle effects, like, apparently they have, like, I don't know why. I was having trouble with the particle effects in the Magic Leap for some reason. Apparently it's a common VR issue that I'm not aware of, but should have been aware of. That when you, I don't know, that they rotate, like maybe somebody can tell me like what I'm trying to say here, but when I move my head left and right, the particle effects spin when I go. And there's like there's a setting that's like turn that crap off, but that was not working for me. So I just kind of like pinned them in place as best I could and moved on with my life. That's what it looks like in the Magic Leap. Looks okay, you know. I put a backlight for the drawing importer in this box that I'm pointing to. And I made it out of a screen because I was thinking I could change the color with that. But then it just created a moire effect. I think I'm saying that right. It looked terrible. Oh, I was trying to reload a pure basic application using Python's IO library, and it was failing, which is whatever. Just going to move on with my life. I have to implement the networking in pure basic is what I need to do instead of trying to have a workaround. I made a digital bike lock that failed. It's not really part of this talk, but it didn't work. I did not bring a fire extinguisher, but I realized I should probably carry one of my fire extinguishers around with me. I do have fire extinguishers in my office for these things.
How many have you used?
None yet.
Okay.
None so far. I did, you know, but it's like Lost. The smoke gets out, and then chaos happens, and then nothing works after that. It was a Lost reference. It was a smoke monster reference. Because the smoke monster is what lives inside of all your computers and powers it. You know that this is true because when the smoke gets out, your computer stops working. Much like we would all die if the smoke monster got off the island. What is another failure? One of the Mac Minis decided to be square for some reason. Like it decided to display the whole application as a square resolution. It's the same application that runs on all the other ones. They don't have problems. Mac Mini is overheating, which is it overheated before the power tripped on this thing. There's these boxes, they had Raspberry Pis on them, but they're bumping into other parts of the controller and like hitting the parts of the keyboard. We're at 5 more pages. This is all the stuff that broke that I remembered. Yeah, I'm sure that there's like things I didn't remember, but it was its maiden voyage out to VGMCon, so that I came back alive was fine. I'm taking this as a victory. Auto powering failed. Don't know why. Haven't had a chance to even look at it. Oh, the auto start's terrible. PC. I got a couple PCs I got to switch out. That's not really fun to talk about at all. I'm going to add temperature sensors to this thing, not for the fire. I do have fire sensors. I should add one just for fun. It's on fire, and the sensor will be like, I'm melting. Oh, I have a Leap Motion stuff attached. I have to remove that because it violates their licensing. I need more, that's irrelevant, but I need more information about the indie games that are also on this cabinet. I need more storage space. The LEDs need some love. They're not on right now, but only 2 of these 6 LED panels are up and running right now. And I kind of made a fun visualizer, but that doesn't mean it's programmed entirely correctly either. This thing is falling apart. Like there's a top part and a bottom part on this cabinet that I'm pointing to the arcade cabinet. The top part and the bottom part are basically like wood glued together, and then everything else is screwed together, but not the top and the bottom part. And that's starting to fail, and then someday it's going to be pretty dramatic, so I got to fix this soon. Replacement cabling. Odoroids are terrible. It's awful. I hate using this thing. It didn't have any power issues, which is great, but it doesn't stay on for any more than 30 minutes. That's like a super Raspberry Pi, if you're not familiar with them. You should probably buy something that's not an Odoroid. But I have like 6 of them, so I gotta use them for something. The server in Unity isn't decoding the byte array correctly. Repositories need to be updated. Make sure there's no Zelda art on there. LEDs are too bright, freaking people out. The TV's starting to break. It's starting to the casing. It's a really thin TV, but the casing's starting to fail. Oh my God, we're done. Okay. Where can you see this? Well, you could have seen it at VGMCon, and you could have seen it at Minibar, and you could have seen it tonight if you were here, and then maybe you'll see it tomorrow if I don't sleep all day. And then I don't know where it's going to be at in the future. Sensory room, it's parts, maybe a smaller drawing importer part. Maybe the arcade cabinet's going to be places. I try to haul this stuff around. If you have indie games you want to get some minor exposure on, you can put them on this cabinet and I'll drag it around for you instead of you. And then I'll take a video and I'll send you a video of somebody playing your game. That's it. Thank you. Yeah, you can tell I do have a writing degree. This is my name. This is how you contact me. This is my YouTube. Thanks for listening to me talk. I will. Yeah.
What's your target audience
Age. It is drunk adults or 5 and below. Anything like more than 5, they're out. Like they don't want to do the coloring. They've done all the coloring they want to. They want to like play something or do something. And less than 5, it's working well. Older than 5, dead zone. And then drunk adults do like coloring. VGMCon, it was a pretty good audience there. They wanted to do like a low sensory room, and that's what it was part of. So they had like lots of music everywhere else, and then you would like come into this room, and it was just like some colors, some things to look at that are our colors, and also you can do some coloring. It was just a lo-fi room for them to chill out and do that stuff for. So that lo-fi space is, I think, my preferred kind of target audience. But kids, definitely. Like children's museums specifically have like old PCs and they want budget-friendly stuff. So I'm targeting that specifically. And they target like 5 and below and things. They often like, things that they have aren't even games even, because they don't want fail scenarios. So it's in that space. I hope that's a okay enough answer. I realized who I'm not targeting, and it's not colleges and universities. That's who I'm not targeting. No, I mean, they're just a lot more talented than I am. Like, they're like actual computer science students at the end of, they're ready to go out into the world and they're showing their stuff. And, you know, they're ready to make some real money instead of this crap that I'm doing or anything like that. So I don't want to, it actually has nothing to do with the students that I am avoiding, it's the faculty that I'm avoiding. The faculty doesn't want to pay me, just because they already have students that are more talented and they don't pay them either, so. Okay. Is there any more questions?
So can we fire this bad boy back up?
Yeah, sure, if you want to. You want to do it at the end of this, and maybe we can point this camera towards it or something? Sure. I don't know. Yeah. Any more questions before then? Yeah, Scott.
Have you, ever, you said you'd worked with the Minnesota Children's Museum. Have you worked with children's museums in other places too, or?
soft conversation with one local museum, but I got to sell them on some stuff. This has got to look a lot better before anything comes of there. Albany Historic Carousel and Museum of Albany, Oregon does cater to children with their fun carousel. I guess they're not a children's museum, but children go on carousels. But yeah, mostly the MCM and then this other client, and then like a client base is super small, so hit me up for cheap ass work. 'Cause my wife told me that we're having a baby. She's not pregnant. She just told me that we're gonna have a baby. So I'm gonna have to readjust some life goals pretty significantly. Okay. Okay, we'll fire this up.
How long will it take you to do that? 5 minutes? 10 minutes?
Not long. I don't think so. I mean, the main PC doesn't take long.
I got filler.
Entertain the stream.
Yes,
They require entertainment.
Okay, this is now the HDMI.
Jesus, I got warm.
You guys are in luck. You're gonna learn about the Lynx R headset. It's a that gives a video feed to your application. What a crazy concept. You run software, cameras, data into software. It is, I think, the only one. HoloLens will do it if you put it into the special mode that won't run apps from the store. Research mode. Yes, sir. This is a Lynx headset. He'll probably, here, let me just back up, yeah. Oh, yeah, so this is a real-time feed reprojected onto a square. And then it's an AR feed with a square of the AR feed. Not the best demo, but you'll notice that the latency it's the same frame that you're actually seeing. Yeah.
What we're seeing through the left eye, and we're grabbing the frames in real time without any added latency, and like that frame here is what that camera is seeing, you know, like the left one. So you're free as a developer
not the
to
best
grab
demo.
the frames without any added latency. It's like a zero copy buffer. Like the only copy that is made is basically rendering back the texture on this quad here and on that one.
Not the best presentation. Here's the headset.
There are magnets around, and you can just.
And the exciting thing that's really different is the lens that you can barely make out there, but it's actually a split quad that goes out and bounces back towards the screen. Apparently it was good enough that Apple bought the company that made the lenses, so now he's out of a lens supplier after this model. This one's in production. It's being manufactured in China. Who knows how long he has the rights to do that, but definitely there won't be the next lens coming for anybody but Apple. So that's really unique, and one of the things they did initially, then they pulled for price reasons, was they embedded a camera right in the center because you don't need to look there because the light all converges on you. So it's a really clever way to hide a camera better than the eye tracking cameras that other people use. But as is now, it's just a different way to do it, to get a very, very thin device.
Keep it like this.
It's not really meant to be used for VR, but this device is like that thick, just sitting there in front of your face. So it's like Vive XR, but even thinner. And a year and a half ago, it would have been amazing and revolutionary. And we are now up and running.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe one of these will show up at the meeting in June or July. Mr. Bradley.
Yeah, I don't know what to say about this, but it's up and running now.
I'll point a camera at it.
Okay.
Go with it.
Oh, okay. You can see this now.
What's that, what? Is that piece of art that Zach was showing us before in there somewhere?
Which art?
The chicken is there. I've seen it.
It's on these computers that are over here,
Oh.
not these ones. The networking is in a work in progress.
Does this battery work on this computer?
Yeah, pull it out. Yeah,
I see the chicken.
perfect.
Chicken. It's
Exactly, that's my.
Oh,
It was there.
Yeah, this is a good example of the low-end PCs as well, because this is a terrible, terrible netbook. It runs nothing.
It's a bad screen.
It does have a bad screen.
And it's Windows?
It does have Windows. It has one window per at the time. One window at a time.
so can you point to some of the stuff on the screen? What of it? What is that? What of it is client art? And what of it is generative art and stuff?
Okay, so on this big screen, these are all images that people made during VGM Con, and then I updated these manually, and then made a new build. Every time I had like 15 new pieces of art. So this is a Majora's Mask that I'm pointing to. This is another Majora's Mask that I'm pointing to. And there's a bunch of rubies in here. There's a bomb I'm looking at.
So all of that's art that somebody else made. What's the green yellow thing?
Oh, just like a music visualizer. It's not audio reactive, but they wanted something that looked like something you would see at like a concert.
But that's something you're creating algorithmically.
Yeah. I mean, I totally looked up a tutorial that does exactly that.
I just mean it's not something it's art that somebody made.
Okay. We can watch the whole process of it turning on.
Well, the coolest thing's going on in this phone in the middle.
Yeah, it's got a phone on it because this is all part of the Twin Cities Traveling Arcade, where you can put your games on phones and Windowses and Macs
And VR.
and VR. And then I haul it around behind my
Is that
car.
your Magic Leap?
No, my Magic Leap's somewhere.
Okay.
That's a Vive Pro, but I do have a Magic Leap in the building here. I have two Magic Leaps in here.
They're all black sort of blend in.
This is. I'm floundering up here.
You're doing great, thank you.
Okay. Don't. Yeah, hit it.
Slap it.
Hit it.
Well, is there anything else you wanted to show, or is that?
That's
wrap
about
up?
it. This is the best way to end the postmortem. Things are just. The ship's got to go back into my garage, and then I got to fix like almost everything. Thank you for letting me show it and for being so patient while I talk about it.
Zach was saying after the talk we were going to have some interactive stuff. That's going to be helping you pack everything back in your.
Interactive roadie simulation is about to begin, people. Well, thank you, stream. Thank you for watching and putting up with our little internet blips. And come here and join us if you like. We meet fourth Wednesday every month.
How many people are on the stream?
I don't know.
0 people.
It's for posterity. Yeah, Marty might have gave up.
Marty will definitely watch it later.
Hi, Marty. Come join us.